0 to 60 dyno pulls and more with the Roush Performance Package Level 1 for your 2021 2.7 liter Bronco. Check it out. Here we have the Roush Performance Pac Level 1 fitting your 2021 Bronco with the 2.7 liter EcoBoost engine. In this kit, you'll find the Bronco cold air intake as well as a calibration specifically dedicated to your 2.7 liter EcoBoost Bronco. You can expect an increase of horsepower and torque, which we'll be testing here on the dyno today, as well as some draggy pulls as well. The Bronco cold air intake is a very simple kit for your Bronco. It includes a filter, a pre-filter, as well as a new lid, which will allow you to see through that lid and see the condition of your filter based on how much off-roading or on-roading you do with your Bronco. One cool thing about the Bronco cold air intake is that it maintains the factory water fording capability that comes with your Bronco. You won't be able to run the Bronco cold air intake kit if you do have an Everglades Edition Bronco that includes that snorkel from the factory. The intake itself does include an EO number, which means it's 50 state legal. The filter is cleanable and reusable, not to mention a super easy installation for this product. Now moving on to the calibration, you can expect an increase of 40 horsepower and 70 pound-feet of torque according to Roush. The calibration does require 91 octane fuel or higher full time, so something to keep in mind for your off-road vehicle. Installation of the calibration is very easy, but you do need to take it to your local Ford dealer unless you do have a pass-through J2534 device to get that calibration through the computer and into your vehicle. With the Roush calibration on your 2.7 liter Bronco, you can expect increased throttle response as well as increased boost, which means more power. Roush does include a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty with this kit if it's installed by a Ford dealer. The Roush calibration does disable the auto start stop function, so if that's annoying to you, this is a solution. So with that said, we'll show you what a step-by-step installation looks like on a 2.7 liter Bronco, and most importantly, measure the before results with the after. Check it out. All right, before 0 to 60 runs, 2021 Bronco with the 2.7 liter EcoBoost. Got the draggy booted up here. We'll see what we got. Put it in sport mode. Not gonna bother locking the diff or doing 4-wheel drive. I don't think it's gonna spin the tires. It does have larger all-terrains on here. Just don't think it has enough power to spin them. So we'll see what we got for the first one here. Or it's in sport mode, drive, give it a little bit of brake boost. Go. That's 60. 7.37 seconds. Not too shabby for a 4-door Bronco on big tires. It's not too bad. I'm gonna go down here and give it one more try. I'm gonna try turning advanced track off because it is like bogging right when I let my foot off the brake. It's obviously eating up a lot of time, so I don't know if that has something to do with the advanced track. Then at that point, if it doesn't bog and it barks the tires, we can look into 4-wheel drive and going that route, locking the diff. 93 octane in the tank, so you don't need to worry about that. Obviously prepping for the Roush calibration with the intake and their calibration for the 2.7 liter. Gonna reset. Didn't bog as much. And we're gonna go with that one. 7.22 seconds, your baseline 0 to 60 for the 2021 2.7 liter 4-door Bronco. Here are the tools required for the Roush cold air intake install. Grab a panel removal tool to remove the push pin holding the air intake scoop. And just pop it out of place. Next, grab an 8mm socket to remove all 4 bolts holding the lid to the airbox. You can simply remove the factory filter by pulling up on the backside. For our particular application, this is a street-driven Bronco, so we won't be using the pre-filter, but if you do more off-roading, here's how you install the pre-filter on your Roush cold air intake. Now you're ready to install your new Roush filter on your Bronco. Simply set it on top of the inlet first and then press the back side into place so it seats completely around the inlet. You want the large side of the filter facing directly up. Now you're ready to install the included rubber seal around the intake lid. Slowly working around and cut to length. Don't forget the inside portion. Don't forget your Roush plaque. There is an area on the lid to install the Roush plaque. Simply peel the plastic film off to reveal the double-sided tape and press it into place. Make sure the filter is oriented directly up. Place the lid on top and get your bolt started. Tighten it down. Then you can snap your air intake scoop back into place and put the push pin back in. Now in order to install this calibration on your 2.7 liter Bronco, you'll need a J2534 pass-through device to get the calibration from your laptop through the OBD2 onto your Bronco. If you do not have this pass-through device, fret not, just bring it to your local Ford dealer and they'll be able to install it for you, probably for only an hour's worth of labor, which will be less than buying the pass-through device in the first place. If you do have the pass-through device, follow along so you can see how we uploaded the calibration. Once you've downloaded the RDT Roush Diagnostic Tool software, go ahead and open it up and follow the on-screen instructions. You can verify your vehicle info right there. Then click Module Programming and PCM Flash. This is where you'll enter the voucher code from Roush in order to upload the calibration. You'll need an internet connection in order to do this. Keep in mind these voucher codes are one-time use only. Now you can hit Flash, follow the on-screen instructions, and go from there. Be very careful not to unplug your laptop or the pass-through device during this time. The Roush calibration requires learning of the fuel octane level prior to making full power. To do this, drive the vehicle at varying loads and RPMs for one full tank of gas, which will get the vehicle learned to the octane you are using. Be sure to fill up with 93 octane for maximum power. Alright, we just finished loading up the Roush calibration on this 2.7 liter Bronco. Excited to see what kind of power it's going to make. Alright, here we are. Roush calibration is loaded. We gotta see what these 0 to 60 times are. Got the draggy ready to roll. Start this truck up. We're gonna put it in sport mode. And sport mode turns advanced track back on, so we'll turn it off again. Alright, let's see what we got. We're gonna need to do that again. Did not do that stock. Definitely has some additional power here. So we're gonna put it in 4-wheel drive because obviously those rear tires cannot handle the additional power. I actually had to let up off the gas so the tires could grab. Was not expecting that out of a Bronco. Yeah, 6.69 seconds. All right, we're gonna give this a shot one more time. I'm gonna put it in 4-wheel this time around because like I said, that additional torque going to the wheels, spinning the tires. We're gonna brake boost it. 7.22 is what we did on the factory calibration. Even spinning the tires, I just did a 6.69. So let's see what we got with 4-wheel high. Wow. 2.68. So roughly half a second drop. 7.22 versus 6.68. But yeah, you actually need four-wheel drive to do a proper launch in this thing now, because it's making a lot more power to the wheels. Very cool to see. And I'm sure it would probably be faster if I had four-wheel high on the launch, and while I was punching it, maybe popped it over in the two-wheel high to loosen up some of the additional friction spinning all four wheels is doing. But I don't want to do that, just for fear of breaking anything. So we're gonna give this a shot one more time. A little bit of torque steer off the line. Even better that time, 6.51 seconds. Impressive gains for the Roush Performance Pac Level 1 for the 2021 Bronco 2.7 liter. Installation itself for this kit really isn't too bad at all. The Bronco cold air intake is quite literally just a filter and a lid. Super easy swap. Take your time with the calibration if you do intend to do it at home and pick up that pass-through device, or if you already have one. Other than that, honestly, it's cheaper just to take it to the dealership and have them take care of it for you. One thing to keep in mind, when you do load the Roush calibration on your 2.7 liter Bronco, whether you do it at home or at the dealership, it's important to know that there is a break-in procedure with the Roush calibration. What that means is that you will have to go through pretty much an entire tank of gas for the calibration to learn what octane fuel you're running. Again, keep in mind you need to have at least 91 octane in the tank at all times with the Roush calibration on your 2.7 liter Bronco. Now let's jump to the most exciting part, the numbers. Let's talk about 0 to 60 first, because honestly, I was most impressed by those. 7.22 seconds for the factory 0 to 60. Keep in mind, we did have 93 in the tank for the stock runs as well as the Roush runs. With that said, 722, that is very impressive for a heavy Bronco with just the 2.7 liter EcoBoost. It's absolutely no slouch. We did turn the advanced track off for those runs because it was inhibiting getting some of that power to the roads. Now jumping to the Roush calibration, I did the same exact thing that I did with the stock runs. I put it in sport mode and then turned advanced track completely off, kept it in two wheel, brake boosted it off the launch, and to be completely honest, well, you saw the video yourself, it lit up the rear tires. Obviously making a little bit more power, or quite a bit rather, down low. So I needed to switch it over to four-wheel drive to get all that power properly to the ground. Once I was able to do that, it ran a 6.51 second 0 to 60, nearly 7/10 faster 0 to 60 than the factory runs. Very impressive. Before we dive into the horsepower and torque numbers, I do want to talk to you all about exactly what gear we ran the runs in. For our stock runs, we ran 5th gear in the Bronco due to the speed limiter. But for the after runs, we did both 5th and 6th gear. Per Roush's request, we did do the run again in 6th gear to show those gains, because in 6th gear, you will see the gains slightly higher than you would in 5th due to the additional load on the 2.7 liter EcoBoost. One other thing I want to mention is the difference between peak gains and curve gains. From the Mustang world, you're probably most familiar with peak gains. That's peak horsepower and peak torque, and the difference between the before and after runs. That's not what we're focusing on here, because mainly it's a Bronco. You want to feel the difference, the seat of your pants from stoplight to stoplight, and those are called curve gains. Not necessarily what it's making at the absolute peak throughout the entire power curve, but in the curve itself on the graph, you're talking about the biggest gains you'll see before and after. Comparing the stock run in 5th gear versus the Roush run in 5th gear, you're looking at peak gains of 12 pound-feet of torque and 4 horsepower. But more importantly, within the curve, you're seeing 31.3 pound-feet of torque and 19.41 horsepower. And again, like I said, Roush wanted us to do the runs in 6th gear as well to show us the proper gains, so we did just that. Peak gains, you're looking at 36 pound-feet of torque and 7 horsepower. But more importantly, in the curve, the seat of the pants, what you're seeing from those 0 to 60 runs dropping 7/10 is 52.44 pound-feet of torque and 32.31 horsepower. If you're looking for an all-in-one solution for your 2.7 liter 2021 Bronco, this is the way to go. Sizable gains, not only on the dyno, but most definitely on the street. Hit us up right here at Steeda.com for all of your Bronco part and accessory needs. Make sure you comment below and let us know what you think about not only this calibration, but also what other Bronco part videos you want to see right here on the Steeda YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and don't forget the most important thing, speed matters.